Welcome to Switch Comics. My name is Marco, and it is Wednesday, yet again, new comic book day, and I got some good comics to talk about. But first, let me quickly tell you about my giveaway. I'm giving away 3 awesome comic bundles at 500 subscribers. That's right, 3 lucky subscribers will each win one of these 3 comic bundles. All you have to do to enter is simply be subscribed and leave a comment on this video. If you would like additional chances to win, you can watch other videos on my channel and leave comments on those as well. Each comment on a new video is another chance to win. Good luck. Alrighty, so I got 12 comics this week. I'd say about a good portion of it's independent, and some of them I didn't get to read because, as usual, I am behind on things. Maybe I just need comics to not come out for a week so I can kind of catch up a little bit. I know most of you all, or anybody that, gets, multiple titles, it's easy to happen. You get behind on something and then you're like, oh, okay, it's fine, I'll catch up. And then you're now suddenly 10 issues behind. And it's like, oh my goodness, what have I done? Anyway, let's talk about what I did read today. So starting off with Bermuda No. 3. Nice little fun independent book that it's really just that. It's super fun. The art is great. It's super colorful, vibrant. There's lots of, well, you can see on the cover here, there's like a spider thing this time, a giant spider. And again, nothing super creative in this book. It's just like, hey, we're going to have giant spiders and fish people and pirates. And it's just like, it's just a smorgasbord of all these fun things all coming together in the Bermuda Triangle of all things. However, I will say there was one thing at the end here that was pretty cool about this particular issue, which I have been enjoying this series regardless, but this is the first time I'm like, oh man, I really want to know what's happening here at this little chunk at the end. It leaves you on a bit of a cliffhanger. While the previous 2 issues were like, oh, that was fun, I really enjoyed that, had a good time. This is the first time I was like, oh man, I need to see what happens next. So I am very excited for that. I assume this is a limited series. I do not recall what it is though. So we might be reaching near or halfway point, I guess technically, but still near the end if it's maybe only a 5-parter or something like that. Now I know this one, this is a 5-parter here. This is Fight Girls No. 3, and we are definitely with this issue, past the halfway mark, and there's a lot of good action. Well, you can see there's a shark here, so this one's water themed. They had to get through like a jungle in the first one, and what was the second one? I don't remember, but I forget the order. The jungle might have been the second one. I think the jungle was the first one. Regardless, again, another fun book that so the premise is there's 10 women kind of competing in these 4 different trials to be the new queen for this futuristic world, but they're like they're not advertised, they're televising, and so it's this big spectacle, this big event, regardless of the fact that there are people definitely dying and all that stuff. It's still being televised, and it's a pretty fun ride. There's a bit of a little secondary story going on about the true identity of one of the contestants, which there's a little bit more that goes into this issue, but not too much actually. I was kind of expecting a bit more on that part of the story in this issue, but we didn't quite get it. So I'm now really expecting a lot of that in the next issue. This issue really focused on more of the remaining contestants and this, like I said, this water trial, and kind of setting up for the end of the competition, which might be also the next issue. I'm assuming, my guess is we're gonna have this final trial in the last issue, and then also have the revelation of whoever, is it Xandra? Blackwater or Blacks? I can't remember her name now. It was like the first book I read all these books, so I already forgot. But the chick with the eye patch. But anyway, so I assume that's all going to come to fruition in next issue, and then maybe taking a guess. And then the last issue is going to be, I don't know, it all coming together and the resolution to the story. But again, another very fun book, a little mini series, a little 5-parter. You can take some time to read a 5-parter. This one I believe is also going to be a miniseries. I think another 5-parter. Yeah, right here, 1 of 5, called Maul. And this one, new Boom Studios book. I always got to pick up new Boom Studios books because you never know. I always try to pick up, you know, Boom #1s, and then also if they're affordable or if I really like them, I will pick up the 1 per stores because Boom loves to do their 1 per stores on their issue 1. And you know, I always say I love me 1 per stores. I don't know if I'll pick up this one. I think I was looking at the price, and it's, you know, it's maybe like a $30, $35 book or so. This one was interesting. The problem with this issue so far is that it is just set up, and kind of, I think the next issue is really where it might hit. So I'll definitely read the next issue. I'm interested. It has me engaged, but I'm not in love with the book by any means. In this issue, it's about these 2 women that moved to this, I guess, like women empowerment camp, but one of them's not kind of really vibing with it, and she goes out drinking, and then, well, I'm trying to not spoil too much, but I mean, it's like I said, it's all just kind of set up. I would recommend it. Also from the descriptions I've read, I think even the descriptions were a bit more telling of what will be happening rather than what happens in this issue, because I think there's going to be some weird stuff that starts happening, but we didn't quite get there yet, and there wasn't really any clear indication that or which direction it will be going either. So I don't know. Boom Studios #1. I suggest picking them up all the time because you never know when these things blow up. Like it's just good to have on it. You know, just a few bucks. You can spare it. I'm sure. So another new book. We got Primordial #1, and this one I'm kind of weird on. While reading this, part of me was like, I kind of like this art, and then like a couple pages, I'm like, I kind of don't like this art, and I'm kind of just constantly was going back and forth between whether I've really enjoyed the art or not. Story-wise, it's in the middle of the space race, I guess, and it was after. So you know, Russia sent Sputnik, and then we sent some monkeys, and supposedly they both died, and then now we're kind of learning that, like, we're detecting their heartbeats or something, and so they're alive. And I again, this is very vague. I don't really know what's going on, but I'm guessing there's some kind of alien life form or something that is interfering with this stuff, or I really don't know. I can't say that I fell in love with this book either. It was interesting, and I probably will check it out. Check out the second issue. But I'm kind of torn on if this series is for me. I don't think it's inherently like bad. I don't want to call it bad or anything. It just, there's nothing in it that really piqued my particular interest. And then the last indie book I picked up on my endless quest of indie titles, I have 9 Stones. This is #2, and I'm pretty sure 9 Stones 1 just came out last week. So this is coming out very fast. And I want to say this is a mini-series, but I don't remember. This is a weird little book. So in the first issue, the main character it starts off like kind of boring. Like he's like, oh, you know, going to my second day on a new job. I don't really want to be here, blah, 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 whatever. And then you quickly learn that he's actually smuggling drugs, cocaine, I think it was. And then, you know, he gets into a shootout and has to escape through the sewers. And then this issue is kind of the ramifications of what happened in that first issue. And then also in the first issue, there was this weird, he kind of has like this moment, it might have been 2 moments, I think, in the first issue, where like this demon or dark entity of some kind is talking to him, and it's a very violent presence, but it's just like a, you know, blink and then it's gone type moment. And again, it happens in this one. I want to say it happens twice in the first issue, and maybe just once in this one. And so we have still absolutely no idea what's going on with that. So I'm really curious, because the story itself, it's weird. It really has like two different things going on, where it has this story about, you know, the drug smuggling and, you know, them getting shot at, and the relationship between him and this other guy that, you know, we're delivering the drugs, and then it'll just randomly have this little, there's some kind of demon thing talking to him. And so I like that this demon thing isn't like the complete story. I like that there's something else going on, and I do think it's interesting. Strange, but interesting. And this book just has my interest piqued enough where I'm not entirely sure. Actually, I don't really know what's going on at all, other than like, you know, they're smuggling drugs and whatever. And this issue was pretty violent, and I enjoyed some of that. But yeah, it's kind of a weird one. I can definitely see this one not being for a lot of people, probably. But it was interesting to me. And kind of a polar opposite of Primordial here. Is like, yeah, I could see people liking this. Maybe not interesting for me, but this one I can see probably not a lot of people liking. But I'm like, this is kind of neat. I want to see what's going on here. And then we got one DC book today. So this is, what's the official title? Harley Quinn, the animated series. Say that backwards. The Eat, Bang, Kill Tour. So this is number 1 of you know, from the animated Harley Quinn show, but now it's a comic, and it picks up literally right where the where the series ends, and begins with this comic. The art isn't quite exactly how, it's not by the same artist or the same writer as the show. I am curious how this will tie in, if the show will take place after this comics, or if it will disregard these comics, or I don't know. We'll see what happens. You know, this could just be kind of filling in, you know, empty space between where season 1 ends and where season 2 begins. That being said, I enjoyed it. This was a fun little ride, although nothing crazy really happens, and that's kind of what I like about the Harley Quinn shows. It's just very over the top, wild, and ridiculous. And this was just kind of like a little extra blip at the end of the episode, and not a ton happens. I'm still curious to see where this goes on, and I'm a big fan of the show, so regardless, I'm gonna read this anyway. And hopefully things will start getting a little crazier. It is a little, I don't know, because I feel bad, because not like the art is bad. It's just weird when you're watching something and this is like a direct continuation of it and has a very different style to it. And so there's a part of it that's kind of, it's like, this feels wrong, it feels weird, but like objectively, if you were to look at it as just a whole separate thing, it's like, yeah, the art looks good. But I don't know, some people might share that sentiment with me, and some people might not. But regardless, I enjoyed it, and had some cute little scenes in it as well between Harley and Poison Ivy. And then moving on to the last book I actually got to read today. So we have, this is just called King the Conqueror. This is number 2, and this story has been pretty good. I almost didn't even pick this up, like the first issue. I was like, they're probably, you know, just banking off. They knew Kang was going to be, you know, in the shows, and they're like, get a Kang comic out, people are going to buy it, which, you know, yeah, people are definitely going to have more Kang interest right now. And but they're doing pretty good on it, and I like it, and I like, because this is supposed to be ramping up to an event, I think, or called Timeless, I assume. I don't know. I know that's coming out, and I think it has to do with this, but I'm not entirely sure. So in the first issue, there's a Kang that takes a Nathaniel Richards, and he's trying to mold him to be a better Kang, the best Kang possible, with no weaknesses, no love interest is the main thing. And that doesn't work out, so he escapes and is trying to trying to get power so that he can exact his revenge on King. And he ends up accidentally time traveling back to ancient Egypt, and so he then has to fight Ramatut in this issue. There is a surprise guest that I tried to look up a little. Admittedly, I didn't spend a ton of time, but I tried to look up to see if this character ever appears in anything else, and I don't know if this character does. If so, this could be a first appearance of sorts. And it was a pretty cool character, one that's also really popular right now. So this might be a book that, even if you're not reading the series, you might want to pick up. I'm not sure. And if it ends up this character did appear in something else, I do apologize. I'm not familiar with this particular version of this character, more so, I guess, appearing before. So I don't know, take that knowledge however you will and use it to do what you want. Maybe flip through it if you're interested, and you might see that it's a pretty cool character. I do like the character design on this as well. That being said, super fun issue to read. I really enjoyed this a lot more than I was thinking I was going to when first getting into King. Barely getting into King. I was like, I guess I'll grab it this week. Yeah, it's a pretty good series so far. And then a few books quite a few books I didn't get to read. So somehow, I didn't read the first, what's it called? Monster of Temple Peak. I didn't get to read the first Monster of Temple Peak. This is a High Republic little spin-off from, it's an IDW, I think another 5 or 6-parter, I don't recall. But yeah, I didn't read the first one, so I will. Eventually I'll get around to it. I was staying up to date with Mighty I almost said Midnight Valkyries. I don't know, but Mighty Valkyries. This is number 5, and I don't know how, but somehow I found one the other day. I was like, wow, I hadn't read this. So apparently I'm behind on this series as well. Don't know how that happened. Super cool cover though. Any cover with Hela on it. I know it's kind of dark, so it might be kind of hard to see, but any cover with Hela on it, I'm gonna be in love with. Then we have Iron Man number 12, which I am super far behind on. I went ahead and picked up the Miles variant instead of the regular cover. I thought it was a pretty cool little fun cover. And yeah, I mean, Alex Ross is good. Don't get me wrong, but there's a bajillion other Iron Man Alex Ross covers. So I was like, let me get the Miles variant. And then my War of the Bounty Hunter stuff that I'm super far behind on. I got Vader number 16 here. And super far behind on the series. And then we got, I think it's called Boosh. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not entirely sure. But to my knowledge, this is also a first appearance of sorts. Because this is, I think, granted I haven't read it, but I did read something in Key Collector app, that this is supposed to be the actual person, Boosh. If that's how you say it. Every other time that this character's appeared, like in the movies, or in other comics, it's been Leia as, in disguise as Boosh, rather than the actual bounty hunter that she's pretending to be. So, this, and I would assume this is probably how this character gets his costume stolen by Leia. If not, I don't know I think this is a one-shot, so that would be my guess as to what happens in this issue. I haven't read it, I'm not sure. But those are the books that I picked up this week. There was another new title, I think, that came out. No One's Child, that I almost picked up. Didn't read that. Maybe you did read it and you're like, Marco, you big dummy. Yeah, that was a really good book. You should have read it. Or maybe there was a different book entirely that I should be reading right now. Please let me know in the comments. Are you reading something that I'm not that's really good? Are you reading some of the same stuff that I am that's really good? Or do you disagree with any of my opinions on the books that I'm reading? I'd love to hear about it. While you're down there on your way, hit the like button, maybe the dislike button if you hate me, I guess, but I'd appreciate a good like on the video. And that's gonna be it, I guess. Quick reminder, I'm still, I'm gonna be doing the mystery boxes. If you want a personally curated mystery box, whether you want raw comic slabs, a mix between the two, I'll find, tell me your budget and I can make it work out for you. I got lots of cool stuff. that I'm just kind of sitting here and be like, I don't have to have these books, I guess, you know. So, you know, send me a message on, or leave a comment here, send me a message on Instagram, email me, whatever you have to do. Just get a hold of me. That's going to be it for today's video, though. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Ha 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 ha!